Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tola. If you're new here, you're welcome. Please consider subscribing and remember to click on the bell notification icon. That way you get notified every single time I upload a new video, which is at least once every week. So here on this channel, I talk about my life here in the UK. I also talk about my job centered around healthcare, and from time to time I bring you updates regarding the UK immigration and the trend so far. Alright, so in today's video, we're talking about a very serious issue, which is for those who plan to come in 2023 on the study route, which is the Tier 4 visa. Now, a lot has been said regarding the possible changes and the propositions and projections for 2023 regarding the study route. We've had that dependents may not be allowed to come in for students who are on a Tier 4 visa. And with all of these updates and projections for next year, a lot of things are still in the gray area for some people. A lot of people do not even know where they stand regarding how to proceed and how to migrate into the UK in 2023. So a lot of us already know about the accommodation issue here in the UK. I've made several videos about that. I've also documented my own process coming into the UK and looking for accommodation, how stressful and strenuous it was. I've also made a things I didn't know about the UK video, and I talked about how strenuous accommodation was, and someone had the full chest to say that I should have said that this is my own experience, knowing fully well that I know people who have gone through it, who are still going through it, and how strenuous and difficult it is for people who are on a Tier 4 visa to get accommodation here in the UK. Now, these are the current realities on ground. I don't want this video to come across as being negative or come across as being discouraging to people who are looking to come in. But these are the harsh realities on ground, and it's gone beyond us right now. And a lot of people, lots of bodies have come out to say that there should be a cap on the study route just to resolve the accommodation crisis right now in the UK, because it can be termed a crisis as of now. We've had different stories of people who have been asked for ridiculous amounts for a very shoddy looking apartment. So the caption of the news, again, my source is the Pi News. The caption is "Calls to cap student numbers as UK housing crisis continues." The UK is in the midst of a housing crisis as student numbers grow. At the start of 2021/2022 academic year, universities including Glasgow warned international students that accommodation won't be guaranteed. Now, Russell Group's universities, including Manchester and Durham, even paid students to defer. I mean, it's that serious. Now, once you're hearing that one, even before you come in, you should know that that is a serious issue. Like, for universities to not offer accommodation to you, even if you're a single person, I mean, that should tell you that it's actually quite serious. Now, when Genevieve Gordon arrived in Manchester in mid-September, 2 weeks after her postgraduate course began, she was surprised to find the private accommodation she had paid for was unclean and covered in mold. Now, I just made a video regarding this mold, and a lot of people are oblivious to the health risk and hazard that mold poses here in the UK because of the weather. Now, I've made a video about this. It should be up before this one. Please do well to watch that video and be aware of what is going on and how to stay on top of it. She said the University of Manchester was slow to issue her offer and provide the details she needed to apply for a visa due to the high volume of applications it received for the year's intake. By the time mine came, all of the rooms were already booked, and I was on several waiting lists until the very last minute when a private student accommodation called me and offered me a room, the French-Canadian postgraduate student said. Due to the health problems, Gordon didn't want to risk remaining in the housing despite having paid for the year's accommodation upfront. But finding an alternative was harder than she expected. There seemed to be a general trend of everything being overbooked. Gordon said the universities offered an accommodation guarantee, but that doesn't guarantee that the accommodation will be in Manchester. I was hearing these stories of people who were being placed in accommodation as far as Liverpool. I mean, that is ridiculous. You are offered accommodation in Liverpool to study in Manchester. Do you know how much you're going to be using to commute? And I don't know if there will be a shuttle bus provided by the school. That's what I'm talking about. It's that serious. Now, during the months that followed, Gordon said she came across landlords asking her to rent without a viewing, agents telling students to bid for accommodation, and in one case, a landlord demanding a non-refundable deposit in order to secure a viewing. I mean, we are at the exploration and the exploitation stage right now. I've heard things that are shocking to the bone. I've heard and seen people go through this stress that is totally unnecessary, and I feel like it should be looked into. Multiple properties were only available if she could provide recommendations from previous UK landlords or employers and provide a UK-based guarantor, something she was unable to do as an international student. Throughout her search, Gordon has been paying to stay in a hotel. Now, on this particular point, let me just state that a lot of people have spent a whopping amount on Airbnb or hotel funds, and we're talking about charges per night. I've heard of someone who paid £50 per night for a month. I mean, I can't will have crazy. There's a lot of these things that I feel like we're not taking into the recce and recognizance of getting as much students. I mean, I feel like the number of students that were accepted to study were not fully catered for, and it's quite painful because a lot of people are struggling right now. I've heard of ridiculous things like you're paying a finder's fee to look for an apartment, you're paying £200 to someone just to secure a viewing, just for you to go and see if you will like the house or not. I mean, it's that ridiculous. So right now, a lot of people are going through. They are just going through it because it's really sad. It's painful at the moment because there's really not much you can do about it. She said, I knew a few students who traveled to Belfast in September. He said they didn't have accommodation pre-arranged with us or with any of the realtor agents. What happened to them is that they stayed in a hotel for a month or two and they had to cancel their course and come back because they couldn't afford to pay anymore. While the UK's international student population accelerates, the development of student housing has slowed in part due to the pandemic. I mean, the level of preparation it's really poor. This is something that has been raised and I feel like it really needs to be addressed. A lot of people are going through a lot. Please make sure that you have thoroughly researched the area that you want to go into, especially for those of us who are planning to come into the UK and just focus on the JAPA aspect. Please consider other routes. I mean, the healthcare route is there, the tech route is there. There are other aspects to apply for jobs and actually get a tier 2 sponsored job, not just in care. Hope that something can be done regarding this particular issue very soon because a lot of people are going through a lot. I mean, funds are wasted on a daily basis, and there's no hope. Most people are not even, because until you get a house, you cannot find a job. In some cases, you cannot register for schooling for your children. I mean, there's a lot that is riding on your residence and your accommodation and securing that accommodation. So I hope that the UK government is able to do something about this very soon because it will really help lots of families out. I hope this video has helped you and enlightened you in some way. If you found this video helpful at all, please do want to leave a huge thumbs up. It does a lot to help my analytics and also get other people to see this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.